Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of a Doctor Who reaction. This is Haarute Live, and my name is Matt. Hello, how are you guys doing? Alright, so, Doctor Who Flux, what's happening, what's popping? So I'm recording this a day after this episode came out. Yesterday it was fucked. This entire past week has just been fucked on me. Like, I had no time. I haven't been getting good sleep in like 4 days. Maybe potentially it's gonna be 5 because I need to record 2 episodes today. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun one. I need to record Hannibal like ASAP, but I need to record Doctor Who just to make sure I don't get spoiled. Because Doctor Who does make its way into like my Twitter timeline, and I haven't been checking Twitter just because of that. Because it's different from like a show like Squid Game. Because in Squid Game, everyone's talking about it, but I don't follow anyone who is a fan of Squid Game. You know, when it comes to Doctor Who, Twitter knows that I love Doctor Who, so Twitter is just throwing me Doctor Who shit. So I'm like, okay, I need to watch this just to not get spoiled. So we're gonna be watching this episode right now. Hello, what's up? I don't have a lot of time to fuck around. So, quick intro. Yes, hello. Last week, Doctor Who Flux, first episode. It was Halloween. We introduced Sontarans. We introduced Weeping Angels. We introduced a character. Her name is Claire, who may or may not be a past or a future or whatever, or the next Doctor, or whatever the fuck she might be. She's introduced. Dan showed up. Dan's cool. I didn't realize while watching the episode originally, but he kind of doesn't really have any money. But whatever he does have, he would rather share that joy with other people. So he seems like a super nice guy, super chill. We have Dee got kidnapped by the I think her name is Azur. I think I've seen it on Twitter. Her name is Azur, because I think the Doctor Who Twitter like showed like a picture of that dude, the Swarm, and that lady Azur. I think that was her name. I could be completely wrong, but I think that's what they wrote their names as. Yeah, the bad guy, the Swarm. He's like an enemy of the Doctor from the ancient times, and she forgot. Sure. The Flux is eating away at reality. And we have protector puppies saving humanity. That's good. Anyway, so let's see what the fuck happens in the second episode. I can't offer you early access because I'm watching this as it comes out, but if you would like to watch the full-length reaction to this episode, you can do so over at the Patreon. So check out the link in the description or the pop-up on the screen in order to catch the full-length version of this episode on Patreon if you're into that. Otherwise, let's watch the highlights. So, Doctor Who Flux, Season 13, Episode 2. Let's go. Did we get eaten by the Flux? Whoa! Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's fucky. Cool! I like historicals. Even if I'm not that knowledgeable on the place, I learn. Okay. Oh my god, they're fighting Sontarans! SONTAR-HA! SONTAR-HA! Let's go! I love Doctor Who historicals. It's just like, we are into the past, we meet like a historical figure, and then there's dumb aliens. And I'm like, let's go. Does the Flux fuck with history? That would be fun. Wait. Are we back to the futuring? He's disappearing. No, you are fading.
Stay calm. I will find you.
Sure. Okay, stakes have been casually immediately raised. We didn't even bother checking the door. Yeah, it's fucking glowing. Doesn't have a door. Okay, something's happening. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Okay, I understand. History was rewritten. Oh, yes, it's where Vendor is. It's weird. But sure, whatever. We're just doing crazy shit every episode.
All is porous. All is broken.
I was thinking this might be like a series 6 with Matt Smith situation, where time kind of stopped at the end and everything was happening at the same time. It was weird. Sontar! Oh my god!
A Russia, no China, only Sontar.
I kind of love that. The Sontarans just kind of established themselves on Earth and took over Russia. Just in general, Asia.
All life is sacred to me. I use my remedies to help whoever is in need. He takes his rest in a regular rhythm, 7.5 minutes every 27 hours. I recorded it.
I shall massacre you for revealing privileged military information.
The doctor.
And he just walks out, just chilling.
You will scum! You will be stamped beneath the boot of Sontar as a future wife to be determined.
Do not shoot.
He just walks out.
He had the 3-minute eclipse and then bang, they were here.
Ooh.
3 minutes eclipse. Must be the carbonista ship.
Yeah. Okay, so this is 3 days later. Okay, so history wasn't changed. The Sontarans just came in.
They've got this thing at the back of their neck, like a hole.
Probing something.
Yeah, all right, Haarute. No need to get all medical.
Who told them?
We fell in Birkenhead.
He was drunk, with a mallet.
Okay, some dude.
Yeah, well, I've had some experience of dealing with aliens these last few days.
Just a little bit, bro. You got captured and then run away from a ship and then passed out. It hasn't even been days for you. It's only been like a couple hours.
Take this.
Take this frying pan. It's so like dramatic. It's kind of funny.
Signed by who?
The doctor, probably. Okay.
You talk about time as if it was a force.
Okay. We're redefining time as a concept, maybe. And because the time machine broke, time broke itself. It's been 0 days since the Earth was fucked up by an alien invasion. How many times does that shit happen? Between Doctor Who and Torchwood, how many times does that happen? In the past, like, I don't know, decade and a half?
You knew the Flux was coming. So what caused it? Is it you? Are the Sontarans behind the Flux?
The Flux is neither of our making or our control.
We just took
but a
advantage of
psychic
it.
command for Suet.
Okay. Did they come into the future and then time travel to the past?
I wanted to ride a horse.
I mean, they have fucking blasters, bro. Like, they all die before they even fucking reach the Sontarans. Man, Dan just like showed up and then he's immediately like, all right, we gotta do some shit. I'm gonna say that this feels like a little bit sudden for his character, but that's probably just because of what the fuck it says. It's just, yeah, that's him. That's the boy. That's Swarm.
I
Remember that.
We have 3.
Oh. When? We have another one now? Oh, so she said I remember this. Crackpot theory number like 3. They are Yas and Vinder. Like the bad guys are actually the fucking protagonists.
I've got this obsession with Japanese food. One of the chief potato heads talk about tempura command. Tempura offensive. What's that all about?
Temporal is in time.
Oh yeah.
The whole history. Erased.
Will you better make sure you stop it?
Is that really Cinco? Hey, really?
Hello, dear. I don't understand any of this.
We have to get the Son.
Me neither. Well, I'll open.
You have to stop their ships leaving.
How? Yeah.
What resources do you have? I'm sorry, what?
Like a pen.
Why have you got to walk?
Just a tourist. That's your boss, your commander, like, there he is. Now I'm gonna walk right out of here.
Oh man.
Unless you want to upset passenger here, take 5 steps.
Passenger. Who's passenger? I am the passenger. And I ride and I ride. They're gonna fuck with this.
Against us. After last time.
Quantum lock. Please tell me this links into the Weeping Angels. I think the 10th Doctor referred to the Weeping Angels as being quantum locked, right? It would be some shit if we saw like the birth of the Weeping Angels. Is someone gonna save him? The dad. No! Carbonista, let's go! Let's go, puppy! Let's fucking go! I forgot he existed. I am so happy he's here.
You're welcome, idiot.
Let's fucking go. He's gonna become my favorite character in the show now.
The suits only have a limited capacity. They have to be refilled.
From their ships.
Forcing a retreat out of the Crimea Up to the 21st century, when my best person will be there to deal with them. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Did you say 21st century?
She's talking. Now, they're all the same time.
That's like the only fair question you could have asked. And they're like, shut up. Bong. Easier. Better.
Useless weapon you got. It's a what? You look ridiculous.
Yes, it's great. I want them to survive through the season and then live together forever after. And then we can have like a spin-off show, the fucking Torchwood, just following Dan and Carvanista. That's money right there, BBC.
Now, retreat.
That word shall never pass my lips. Make a strategic withdrawal.
We strategically advance in the opposite direction of the enemy. This soldier commander dude is gonna show up and be like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill them all. We just jumped off the ship.
It worked. They're leaving.
Just-
No further bloodshed.
I must disabuse you of that.
He set up bombs.
It was done.
I was full of men I lost today.
Sometimes men like you make me wonder why I bother with humanity. I am grateful that you do.
That's good.
Whoever you are, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Let's fucking go, Carvanista. The doctor's here.
Pretty easy, really. I worked it all out by myself. Until Scooby-Doo here tried to take all the credit.
I have to find my friend. You wanna come?
Yeah, sure. Properly. Now we actually properly say, yeah, let's travel.
I hope I never see you again. Feelings mutual.
He likes them. They like each other. I love this relationship.
I should not be going out before.
Torres? You good? What the fuck is happening? Okay, we're here now. Sure. I'm worried about the Torres, okay? Asur. Are Yas and Vinder okay? Yas and Vinder are gonna show up as the people there. You replace the two broken ones with them.
Time is beginning to run wild. Could really harm the TARDIS.
Okay, sure.
So I made a short-term repair.
Put Yas and Vinder in there. Yep.
What have you done to them?
It's what I'm about to do, Doctor.
For the fucking noise. The fucking noise. You don't get answers. You don't get answers. Fucking god damn it. I mean, they have a continuous storyline. They're gonna make use of their fucking ability to just cliffhang the shit out of you now, so that's really mean what they did. Just a slow countdown into a cliffhanger. Like 5, 4, 3, 2. Just like, come on, guys. So it's been a couple hours since I watched the episode. So I tried to record the like review to it, but then I got busy, so I couldn't continue. So I was like, fuck it, let me move the camera a little bit. I liked it, and I also did a little bit of like reading, a little bit of research on Mary Seacole and Joseph Williamson, but we'll get to them in a second. But what's up? So that episode felt weird in some aspects to me. It's not that I didn't like it. It was good, but there were some moments where I was like, I feel like I can see the moments where the season was hit by COVID. The moment that mostly stands out to me is whenever Dan... Okay, so first of all, everything about Dan in this episode, where previous episode he was like, oh my god, I got kidnapped by a doll, what's happening? And then this episode, he's like, alright, I'm infiltrating the alien compound and stopping this like alien invasion. It's like, bro, what? I understand that for the most part, he was like, well, I don't know, I have a walk and I'm hitting things with it and I'm trying to see what's up. But like, the fact that he was like infiltrating, he was like, I'm recording this for you, Doctor. It's like, I feel like they're like, for a second I thought, did I miss an episode? Was there another episode in between the one I just watched and the first one? But no, there's not, because I'm watching this as they come out. So like, I feel like because I remember the story that came out back when they confirmed the new season is that I think they said it was gonna be only 8 episodes because of the COVID. I remember that, and then later they were like, actually, it's gonna be 6 episodes. So that to me sounds like there was like a lot more that they had in mind for these episodes, like several more stories or like little bits of stories, and they were like, actually no, fuck that, we don't have time for that, we're just gonna focus on what we have to tell. So maybe there was meant to be another like story where we're gonna see Dan do more stuff or get more accustomed, because there is a line that he says in this episode which is like, I've had enough experience with aliens over the past few days. I think he said that, and I'm just like, bro, what? Unless that's gonna get explained later, and then we're gonna realize, oh man, Dan has been having his own adventures for like a little bit off screen. We just didn't see it. It's just gonna come back in the finale. It's like, actually, Doctor, I did this entire adventure off screen, and that's how I saved the day. Unless it's gonna be like a release like unless it's gonna be like a reveal like that, this feels like there had to have been another episode in between the first one and this one in order to like make Dan make more sense. Okay, that's not to say that's necessarily a problem to me, because I kind of don't care. I mean, a lot of the things regarding Doctor Who and things in media in general is that whenever they just tell something to me, I'm just like, yeah, sure, man, whatever. I just kind of roll with it. So if Dan is just like, yeah, I'm doing all of this, I'm like, yeah, sure, man, do what you need to do what it needs to be done in order to move the plot, man. I believe you, whatever. So, but I'm still gonna point it out because I feel like that's one of those things where I'm like, maybe this was the COVID hitting production a little bit. But yeah, like a third of this episode was like a historical, but not really, you know, because like in this episode, we went to the Crimean War. Yeah, the Crimean War. And we met Mary Seacole. And that was cool. That's fucking cool. And I did read a little bit about Mary Seacole, because I'm going to be honest with y'all, I didn't know who she was. And I didn't know what the Crimean War was. Because here's the thing, is that one, I'm not British. I'm not even European. So I don't know a lot about European history. And two, I dropped out of high school. So anyway, I did a little bit of reading on her, and yeah, she describes the British hotel as a mess stable and comfortable quarters for sick and convalescent officers, and provided succor for wounded servicemen on the battlefield and nursed many of them back to health. She displayed compassion, skills, and bravery while nursing soldiers during the Crimean War through the use of herbal remedies, and she was posthumously awarded the Jamaican Order of Merit in 1991, and in 2004 she was voted the greatest Black Briton. So, you know, she's pretty cool. She's pretty cool, and I'm glad she was here. And like, another thing I felt regarding maybe the time constraints in production was regarding her, is the fact that I was watching this episode and I was like, this feels like so a third of the episode was a historical episode, but just a third, you know, because we were focusing on that, but then we were also focusing on Dan invading like the Sontaran camp and saving the day in modern day. And then we also had Yaz and Vinder in dealing with the whatever the fuck was happening there with the priests. So we had a lot of things to focus on, and it felt like, even though I would say kind of like the main setting for this episode would have been 1850, it really felt like this. Like that entire adventure in 1850 with Mary Seacole would probably have been an entire episode. Like just dealing with the Sontarans over there. But they maybe didn't have the time, and they had to like change things a little bit. So it ended up just being like a little bit of the episode. So because what happens is that, and this is something I notice, it happens in Doctor Who in just in general, but in the Chibnall era, I feel like we had a number of like historical episodes with like important historical figures showing up. So, you know, we had Rosa Parks, we had Nikola Tesla, The Demons of the Punjab Web didn't have a specific historical figure, but it was still a historical, and that's actually like my favorite episodes of the Chibnall era. Actually, no, Fugitive of Jejune is not a historical. We did have Mary Shelley. I forgot about that. We did have that one, and that episode was pretty good too. I don't remember the name of the episode. What was it? Terror in Billy Diodati. That one. So anyway, Chibnall era does do a lot of historicals, and they're pretty good. And the thing that they do is that they present to you these historical figure characters, and they present to you in a manner that it's like they're pretty cool, and that's kind of it. You know, they never present them in a manner that is like negative. Unless you're Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison can go fuck himself. With like someone like Rosa Parks, which I felt like it was probably the closest comparison to this lady. It felt like a very respectful episode, I think. And even the Tesla episode, it also felt really respectful towards Tesla. And it did have these moments of like Tesla at the end of his episode, he's like, I always look at the future. You know, it was like a very like, I'm a great figure. And I'm cool, and I totally wasn't in love with a pigeon or whatever the fuck he was on about. Yeah, and it's just like triumphant heroic music, and it's like, yeah, they're cool, and then fades out, and in the what was it? I think it was the Rosa episode where at the end they were like looking at an asteroid, and it's like this asteroid, whatever, also known as asteroid Rosa Parks, because she was awesome, she was cool, and like, yeah, they are, but every time they do these episodes, it really feels like we have to paint these figures as like they're super cool, which honestly I'm down for. But in this episode, I felt like they were trying to do that, but they only had like 5 minutes to work with it, you know? So like oftentimes there's a scene where Miss Sequel, Mary Sequel, she's in there and she says something that is like really cool, and I'm like, yeah. And then we just kind of have to move on because we don't have a lot of time. So it really feels like, I bet they wanted to make this a full story, a full episode, and just dedicate it entirely to like, this is the time, this is the conflict, this is the person we're just going to be hanging out with. Because, you know, in Doctor Who stories, when you're in a one solo place, you have the one-off characters in that story to interact with, and in this case it would have been Mary Sequel, and it would have been really cool, and at the end they're going to be like, yeah, Mary Sequel was cool, and then we move on to the next episode. But because we don't have the time to do that, we only spend like a little bit of time with her, and I think they do a good job at giving her the like respect she deserves, but I feel like they would have done more if they could have. That's what I feel. So, yeah, that was also another little bit of me being like, this episode feels like they're rushing through a couple things because they really don't have the time to fuck around. They need to get the shit moving. All right, so enough about like me looking at this from like a production perspective. Let's talk about the actual episode. Okay, so this is something I was thinking during like the previous Forgotten to Time review of this episode that I was doing. So I don't know what the fuck is happening with Yas and Bender, but like, okay, so couple things that I just want to throw into the ether and just be like, all right, maybe something will stick. But like, I was thinking, well, okay, so they're apparently in the time planet, and the Doctor is like, there's no planet called time, and they're like, here we are, though. There is the mention of these people or creatures. I forgot their names, sorry, it's been a couple hours since I watched the episode, but it appears that they are creatures that there's like 5 of them, and they're like in the circular pattern, and I don't know what they were doing, but they were just there. 2 of them broke though. Because they broke, shit was weird. Maybe that's why the TARDIS was acting badly, because they did say like time is getting fucked with, or time is I don't know. Like, okay, so this is what I interpreted this whole thing being, is that planet or that temple with the priests or whatever, they were like regulating time. You know, time let's take the concept of time and let's make it a tangible thing. And that gets through this filter, which is this planet. And because of this entities or technology, time is able to go through it and then approach the rest of the world in a more safer manner, in a way that we were able to live and perceive time the way we do in order to make it normal. But like, let's assume that time is something that is not just a constant, is something that's more tangible, and it has to be filtered in some way in order to be able to access it in a way that's safe for life forms. Sure, something like that. Here's the other thing though. This means that whatever those entities are and whatever that planet is time-based. The planet is also called time. Okay, cool. We've established that. They also threw around the term quantum locked. And I think, if I remember correctly, because I've rewatched some things like a couple times, I think the 10th Doctor referred to the Weeping Angels as quantum locked. Also, all 5 of those figures, I think they were they were all facing front, and they were in a circle pattern, which means that they were all looking at each other. I think, and we have also introduced Weeping Angels in the previous episode, and they need to somehow fit into this plot. I think whatever the fuck is happening at that temple within the planet time with those entities, I believe they are Weeping Angels to a capacity. I will not get cocky enough to throw specifics, but it could be a matter of like, hey, maybe those are the proto-Weeping Angels. Maybe they become Weeping Angels later. Maybe because of the events that happen in this season, those creatures or the planet time itself, the people there, become Weeping Angels. Maybe, yes, and Vinder will become Weeping Angels after he does the thing, but I don't think so, because we need to give Yas a proper goodbye, and that would be anticlimactic unless we can save her somehow. Yeah, Weeping Angels have to like fit into this like plot in some way, because we already introduced them. So I'm like, okay, how do we do that? And I think this can be a cool in, but then here's my concern, is that like I feel like I'm like 75% sure that this whole thing in the time planet, I'm like 75% sure it will lead into Weeping Angels in some way. I'm not sure in which way, but in some way it will lead into Weeping Angels. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, because the thing about Weeping Angels is that Weeping Angels are so fucking cool. They're like the coolest Doctor Who monster. They're like the coolest Doctor Who alien. Like, Stephen Moffat could have just come in, written Blink, and then peace out, and everyone would have said, oh, he's like the best Doctor Who writer ever. Just after writing one episode. That's all I needed to do, because the Weeping Angels are so fucking cool. And Blink is such a fucking cool episode too. But like, the thing about Weeping Angels is that I think they got progressively less cool the more they appeared on screen, because like eventually you see the episode where they like move, and I didn't like that, and I don't know if a lot of people liked it, because it looked a little bit weird. But the thing that made Weeping Angels cool is their rules about how they don't move if you're looking at if you're looking at them. But that's because they turn into stone, which also means they cannot be killed. But if you're not looking at them, they turn real. But part of that is the idea that you don't know, and probably will never know, what they actually are because you can never look at them and they are real at the same time, you know? Then they tackle a little bit in what happens if you look at like a recording of it, but it's like it's weird because they already exist in another like weird dimension where they know when they're being looked but they're not, and during camera, and then they also multiply or whatever. It's weird. But like when you start adding rules on top of it is whenever it starts to fall apart a little bit and it loses a little bit of its coolness. Like, I think that in order to maintain a creature like the Weeping Angel as interesting and scary as it is, you need to not explain too much about it. You need to not exploit its appearances way too much. All you need, because like, I still think that the best apparition of the Weeping Angels was in Blink, and I don't think you can recreate that. You cannot do Blink again. You can only build on it, but if you build on it, it kind of retroactively makes them worse. So I don't know how they could do Weeping Angels and also keep them cool. And I get a feeling that they're gonna try to like give the Weeping Angels lore, and they could do that. And actually that would be kind of cool in order to explain exactly what the Weeping Angels are, where they came from or whatever. But like, that is risky because that could end up badly, I think. Weeping Angels are way too cool. Please don't ruin them. But I feel like that what's happening there might be linking into the Weeping Angels. I don't know what's going to happen to Yas. I don't know what's going to happen to Bender. By the way, Bender immediately got a crush on Yas. I am worried that the show is going to be like, hey, Yas has to leave the TARDIS at the end of this season because she's not going to be a companion anymore. And she's going to stay behind with Bender, and they're going to be a happy couple. I'm afraid that will happen because I believe that Yas is a raging lesbian, and if that doesn't turn out to be the case, I'm a bit pissed a little bit, you know. I'm a bit pissed a little bit, you know, because like it needs to be resolved in a manner where it will make it like feel fine toward what the show has been building up on, because Yas clearly has like. Okay, here's the thing. It's that ironic. People can look at the 13 Doctor companions and be like, yes, they didn't have a lot going on. And I think that's kind of true, but I think that applies to everybody, you know? Like, Graham did have a little bit going on with the whole Grace thing. But other than that, he also didn't have a lot going on. He was just really good to have on screen. He was funny. But yes, didn't have a lot going on, but probably still had more than the other two. Because Yas did have, maybe not in Series 11, but in 12 and in the specials and in this one, it really feels like Yas is like really in there when it comes to the Doctor. So if this show doesn't give her an exit where it's very clear that she has feelings for the Doctor, and that it's and instead it says actually she's gonna go with this guy, who admittedly is a cool guy, but if she just decides to just go with that guy, I'll be like, what the fuck? What the fuck are we doing for the past 2 years, man? Come on. So I hope it doesn't do that. I feel like it won't. I feel like it would be really wrong for them to do that. I feel like it would just go against everything that they've been building up on. So, sure. Moving forward, what happened? Okay, no, there was something that happened in the episode that I feel like people can miss. I feel like people can miss this. Like, not miss, but like forget after they watch the episode because of everything else. But, Joseph Williamson was in the fucking Temple of Time, or whatever this place is. Joseph Williamson just walks in. When Yas arrives, he walks in and he's like, yo, fucking... I don't remember exactly what he says. Give me a second. He's complaining that everything is just shifting. Yas asks him to take him from the start. And then he's like, from the start? You mock me, madam. The start. She asks what year it is. And he says it's the year of our Lord, 1820. And then he says all of our fears made true. Everything is porous. All is broken. There's so much work to be done. I have no idea what the fuck he's doing there. So here's the thing, is that after previous episode, I did look up, because I was just reading through the wiki of the first episode, and I saw that Joseph Williamson was an eccentric businessman, property owner, and philanthropist who is best known for the Williamson tunnels. So the tunnels that was in the first episode, they're actually real. They're part of the Liverpool lore or whatever. They're there. And well, if I was from the UK, I would probably know that, but they're there. So they're gonna try to link up that to whatever Flux is doing now. And sure, that's something that I can roll with. But the fact that he just showed up here and he's like, yeah, something's wrong. Well, whatever, man. Like, he knows what's happening to some degree and he's complaining about it. And then he just walks off and then we don't see him again. What was that about? Because we kept having scenes about the Temple of Time. Yas is there, Vinder is there, the creatures are there, and then Swarm and Azor walk in. And then the Doctor comes in and with Dan, and it's like, okay, we have a lot of scenes in the Temple of Time, but like, where did fucking Joseph Williamson go? Like, what the fuck was up with that guy? What is he doing here? So that's another mystery that they're gonna have to like come back and explain later, which probably means that it's something important. I just don't know to what degree. Let's talk about the mystery of planet Time, because they said there's no planet called Time, and then they were like, but there is though. So what's that? I had this like random theory that I was mentioning earlier. It's the idea of like, what if, like, I don't know, like the Flux destroyed all of reality, like the entire universe is fully gone, and then they're like, okay, there is one planet that survived though, and it's the planet Earth because he was saved by the Lupari ships making the shield or whatever. Maybe, well, because time is broken, and it's like a series 6 finale situation where all of time is happening at the same time, like. Maybe Joseph Williamson, like maybe this is all happening in the tunnels or whatever, and Joseph Williamson is there because he never died because time doesn't move, and maybe Earth becomes the hub for time. I don't know. Maybe Earth, because everything else is gone, Earth becomes the original planet, the progenitor planet. And all of civilization spans from Earth, but then Earth is also the first planet because time got destroyed. But then the Doctor, through like magic shenanigans or whatever, the power of friendship, she restores and saves everything. But now there's 2 Earths, and one of them is the original, and one of them has to be the first planet where all life originates. I don't know, like, because all of this is dumb shit. All of this is dumb Doctor Who's shit, so I don't know how to explain it. I'm just throwing randomness at the wall, and maybe something will come close to sticking, okay? So, I still have no idea how to explain Joseph Williamson in there. Anyway, Sontarans, right? Yeah, sure, man. I mean, Sontarans are fun to have because Sontarans are just a fun enemy, but like, at the end of the day, they're just kind of like goons. They're just kind of like random aliens that they're like, yeah, we're the bad guys of this week. And it's like, sure, man. I'll just see you in the back. And then we're just going to want to move on. I like how they painted the British army to just be a bunch of assholes. And this commander just being a piece of shit. Because it's like, yeah, man. So he just blew up all the Sontarans. But the thing is that they were already defeated and they were running away. And he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to kill them all. Which is like, okay, so I'm confused about how this works. Because like, if I understood correctly, the Sontarans invaded Liverpool in 2021, right before the Lupari ships formed the Shield. So right, like when the Flux was happening. And then they invaded Earth, they were already inside. And then they were like, alright, now let's use time machines and go back in time and alter all of history and make ourselves like be present in all of Earth history. I understand this is Doctor Who and the rules are not set, but like, I don't know if that's how time works. And the reason why that is weird is because we are having those events happen concurrently. So Dan is having an event where this is before they go backwards in time. But then the Doctor is having the same event where they have already gone backwards in time and changed history. So like this, you know what this feels like? It feels like this would have been a 2-episode arc, and we would have had the Crimean War episode happening first, and then we would go to Liverpool and stop them from going backwards in time. And that would have been the 2nd episode. Because there would be a concept of linearity in doing so. But because we did both at the same time, it feels a little bit jarring to explain. Because that makes it so like something that hasn't happened yet and it cannot happen is happening at the same time as the thing that isn't happening. It's like, what? So sure, that is I think I understood that correctly. But yes, Dan stopped the Sontarans from going backwards in time. I mean, I say that, but it was really just Carvanista. And by the way, Carvanista is on his way to becoming like my favorite character of all time. It's just like this like warrior protector puppy who shows up, and like I say puppy, but like he's like discount Chewbacca a little bit, but like cooler, I think, because like it's like this pup it is this dog. It just looks like a dog because of the ears, but he has this like tall, like soldier buff man body with all the like armor and shit, and then he comes in and he has a glowing axe that also shoots lasers, and I'm like, yeah, fucking let's go. He's also tsundere because like he's like, I didn't want to save you, like fuck you, you're pathetic or whatever. At the same time, he cares though. Like you can tell that he cares, and he's also like he has to save fucking Dan or whoever. Like the Lupard are pretty cool, but at the same time, he's like a tsundere the whole time. He's like, I don't want to do it, but I'll do it. It's like, all right, I like both of them. Like I said during the reaction, I want to see like a spin-off show of like Dan and Carvanista just solving mysteries or whatever. I want to see that. Fuck the like Graham and Ryan show. Like I don't want to see that anymore. I think I said before I want to see that a spin-off of Graham and Ryan just doing some shit. Fuck that. I want to see Dan and Carvanista. After the season is over, I want them to survive, and then I want them to go and make their own show when they're just like going around solving mysteries and solving Earth, and it's like a buddy cop. I want to see that. I want to see fucking Doctor Who buddy cop just come in. That'll be fucking sick. Dude, I'm so sleepy. I have to record Hannibal too. Like, oh my god. I really hope, and I'm sure we will, but I want to see more Carvanista. I really want to. That's gonna be a lot of fun. But yes, Sontarans in this episode really felt like we're just the bad guys of this week. They're probably not gonna matter moving forward, but yeah, sure. This is like episodic in the middle of a non-episodic storyline, you know? But because we had the scenes in the Temple of Time and stuff, then that makes it like a little bit better, you know? So I suppose what the Flux is doing is that because time is fucky, this means that you do not cause paradoxes by going against it. You can do whatever you want. So really, this is the time to go and fucking get Rose. This is the time to go and save Gallifrey, actually. Because we already did that, but then Gallifrey got destroyed again. So this would be the time to go and stop that from happening, wouldn't it? If time is fucky, and you can do whatever the fuck you want and rewrite history, which is... It's dangerous, because it's a massive, like, fucking power to have. But if the Doctor can more or less, like, predict how things go, then she can save Gallifrey. I mean, you don't even have to do that. You only have to go and stop the Master from destroying it or whatever. So yeah, maybe that's how Gallifrey will come back. Because the Flux allows you to do whatever the fuck you want. So this is the time to make changes that otherwise you wouldn't be able to make. That would be interesting. So that's another prediction I can throw in. Anything else in this episode I want to talk about? Probably, but I'm forgetting. And I'm super tired, dude. Like, I don't remember if I said it in the intro, but like, this last week, well, it's more like a month, has just been hellish to me. I just haven't had no time and no energy to do anything. And this past week especially. Like, I've been having like 3 days in a row now. Maybe soon to be 4, where I'm like constantly being like dragged to do stuff that I don't want to do. Like family, relatives coming over from far away, and just have to go to the airport, and then I have to go and have like a special meal with like the whole family. And I'm just like, bro, I want to sleep. I have work to do, and I'm just like not able to do anything. So like, because Doctor Who came out like right at this time, I'm watching Squid Game, and I need to watch Hannibal. And I need to watch Doctor Who as it comes out just to not get spoiled. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. So that's how I feel right now. If you would like to make me happier, so I don't feel like I'm wasting away for nothing, check out the Patreon. I'm skimming through the episode. I don't know if there's anything else I want to talk about. Okay, there's a... What's the name of this thing? What's the name of this guy? It's not the Collector. I don't know what the name of this fucking... Okay, so like the Swarm and Assur, they showed up with another third person in the background. I don't remember what the name is. The Passenger. I remember because of the song from Iggy Pop with David Bowie. I am the passenger, and I ride and I ride. If you haven't heard that song, it's a baller song. And if you're interested in a potentially better version of the song, check out the cover by Siouxsie and the Banshees. It's a fucking baller ass cover. So anyway, that's the song slaps. Where what was I talking about? Yeah, I don't know what the Passenger is doing. I don't know what he's here for. We'll see next episode. Yeah, we didn't get anything resolved from like what's happening with Diane. Who else was Claire? We haven't seen anything about Claire. Yo, I just remember there was a scene at the very beginning of the episode where the Doctor was in this place. Yeah, the Doctor was in this place. That was like a mansion. Is that the mansion where Di walked in? Okay, let me go back to the previous episode. Let me see if I can find that. Because the previous episode, Diane, she walked into a house of sorts that opened up, and it had like a white door, and she walked in, and then she was taken away by Esther. Is it the same one? No, it's not the same one. It's a different house. It's a completely different house. Yeah, I'm looking at episode per episode. It's a completely different house. So yeah, I don't know what the Doctor is looking at, because the Doctor at the very beginning of the episode, the Doctor is looking at this like house or mansion or whatever it is. It looks very old timey, very European, and the door is open. And I love the way this looks because it's like a house, but it's also like the more it goes on, the more like destroyed it is. And then you see it's actually like floating. It's like a bunch of like structure that is broken or not fully built in. It's just floating in the fucking sky. And it's all black and white. Yeah, and I don't know what this says. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. But it looks cool. But yeah, I don't know what the Doctor was seeing that. But I suppose that's that. And I think that's going to be everything I can say about this episode. Maybe there's more to... Oh my god, I've been doing this for 40 minutes. I'm going to go to bed, y'all. I'm going to go to sleep a little bit because then I need to record Hannibal. And I need to gather some kind of energy. Okay? So I'm just going to go now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you guys next week. Yay. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this reaction episode of Doctor Who. If you would like to catch the future episodes as they come out, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. And also check out the Patreon if you just want to support this dumb shit that I do. Or if you want to watch the full-length version of this episode, you can do so over there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye, take care.